message. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señores y señoras. Brotkohl has left the game. Brotkohl means something like bread, cabbage in German. Interesting name. This name makes no sense even in German, so don't even bother thinking about it. So, welcome back. It is the fifth game. It is the final game. It is the ace match of This is Jimmy against Mova. It is really interesting. Really curious what we might see. Because in the last game on Lost Temple, even though it was a TVT, we saw some interesting moves. We saw a contain by Mover and a counter contain by This is Jimmy, and this was really interesting. And yes, I was playing in this tournament as well. Mover was my first opponent, and as I knew that I heard of this guy once again, then I checked his European account, and then I thought, okay, it's this guy because he's performing really well, even though he's not participating in that many European tournaments. That's why he might be not that well known, but he's got more than 3,000 something points on the European Masters League server, so he's quite a good player. And especially on this game on Metalopolis, he really impressed me. So I'm really curious where this is going. So to introduce the players, we got Mova here as the blue Terran on the left side, on position number 1 on Scrap Station. Here on position number 2, like we can see there right now, we have This is Jimmy spawning as the purple Terran. So of course purple is the favorite color to go for Mova. For This is Jimmy, Mova sometimes changes his color choices. So let's take a small peek at the APM. We see This is Jimmy not having too many APM in the beginning on the match. Of course, Mova likes it a little bit more, 230, 240 in average. Meanwhile, we just have 100 in average. But This is Jimmy still a little bit more than I have. I have about 40 APM or 30 APM in average, especially, but only in the beginning of the game. Of course, in the mid and the late game, my PM rises a little bit. But I think it's just a personal preference. I mean, some people, for example, like Beastie, like to show us a 500 or even a 600 APM. They like torturing their equipment, but some people just take it easy, relax, sunshine reggae all the way. So, what is the production tab showing us? We see double refinery coming up by Mova. We see double refinery coming up by This is Jimmy. And interesting, This is Jimmy building his second refinery on the left side. Mova is building his refinery on the left side as well. Could this be a coincidence? Could this not be a coincidence? Mysteries of the Scrap Station. Mysteries of the Scrap Station really sounds like someone should write a novel about it. With love, hatred, and betrayal. Anyway, Mova is with his factory finished in about 2 seconds. Meanwhile, the factory for This is Jimmy is there, just finished as well, going for the tech lab on it. There we see the starport in production, and having the starport at this location by This is Jimmy could most likely indicate that we will see some Banshee play once again, but this time we won't see any Banshee. What I say in this time, we never saw any Banshees by Mova today. But Mova is going for the Blue Flame Hellion, even though I'm really curious. I know this Blue Flame Hellion upgrade, this icon is this one we're seeing right now. So the Infernal Pre-Igniter is what we have here, and why isn't the icon of the Infernal Pre-Igniter blue as well? I mean, it's called the Blue Flame upgrade. The flames are blue. I mean, everybody is talking about it being the Blue Flame. But why is this flame actually still yellow and orange? Special Andre asking questions. Blizzard is not liked to be asked, so. Anyway, once again, enough with the silly jokes. We see this Banshee is coming up by This is Jimmy, and is going for the cloak. So 3 out of 5 games, he's going for the cloaked Banshee, and on all the previous games he went for the cloaked Banshee. He won those games. Could this be a coincidence? Could this be an indication that he will win this game and he will win the finals? Who knows? So at first we have to take a look at how well this Blue Flame Hellion upgrade attack is going, and he just unloaded all of his Hellions to reload those Hellions. It's the Medivac flying any slower with those Hellions being in there. And now ThisisJimmy spotted the Medivac, and the Medivac spotted the Banshee. So I'm really curious what both guys are doing. But before that, they already started with the missile turret production. And will he be... Oh, he needs to watch out, and the Viking is there as well. He needs to drop all the Hellions right now, or he will be in a lot of trouble. Or will he get home just in time? Marines are waiting there to intercept the Viking. And this Medivac makes it. Oh, they're barely alive with 6 HP left. Instant repair coming up on the Medivac. So this was really a close one for Mova. In the end, he was able to stay alive. He scouted the tech pattern of ThisisJimmy out. And on the other hand, ThisisJimmy scouted the tech pattern of Mova out. So, yeah. Banshee, I hear a Banshee somewhere, and Banshee was attacking this starport, and Banshee is still attacking the tech lab, but because of the fact that there's no tech lab on this starport, he has to rely completely on scans. And ThisisJimmy doing a brilliant job at killing more Marines. The Banshee is at 2 kills, so those 2 kills were 2 Marines. A scan, of course, one single scan here at the border of the map is not enough to take down the Banshee, so ThisisJimmy just can fly away. Still no reactor swap here, no tech lab swap here with the starport and the factory, and with this tech lab being taken out, it should be another 25 seconds for a possible... Whoa, for a possible Raven to come out. Once again, forces here, Medivacs by Mover under attack, and looks like ThisisJimmy is a little bit too overeager, and this is really the match of the closely surviving units, barely surviving units, because 20 HP left on the Medivac, 11 HP left on the Viking here, and the Viking is still patrolling, still scouting out when are there any units to come. Meanwhile, Mobile went for the expansion. He's not building the expansion at the natural location, he's not building the expansion here at the corner to go for the island. Of course, going for the island expansion against the patrolling Viking, not that effective, especially in a TVT. For example, the half island here at expansion point number 3 is much more safe to go for, because if you got the natural and the center location as well, most likely the number 3 location will be protected. But in a long scrap station game, the island expansion is not protected at all. Just land some siege tanks here and you'll be fine. Viking is under attack once again, and looks like Mova has to drop the Hellions. No, he does not, but now we see another engagement up here at the ramp. So ThisisJimmy was not sieged up, Mova was sieged up. Siege tanks, Corporal Siege Tank for example, he had 3 kills, and Mova, he's continuing to try to drop there. He tried to drop 3 times already, but all the drops were denied by him. But anyway, he finished with his command center right now, but ThisisJimmy, he is ahead because his orbital command, not a command center, is already landed at the natural expansion. So what else is happening in this game right now? We see Jimmy once again going for the contain, and every time Jimmy goes for the contain in the TVT, he is feeling pretty good because he wins those games, and I'm really curious where this is going. And there we see Mova once again, this time with the 2 Vikings and 2 Medivacs, and there we have 1 single siege tank, and ThisisJimmy's directly waiting here, and there we see some Hellions being dropped, some Marines being dropped, and this execution of this drop is absolutely horrible. Mova losing all of his forces, but he killed quite a lot of SCV thanks to the blue flame, but he could have executed this drop so much better. It looks like he was occupied elsewhere. Viking got taken out by the Viking Sea of Mova there, and now the destructible rocks are down, so ThisisJimmy can continue with a slow push. He's building a reactor, he's building a bunker, he's building a second bunker, going for the missile turret. He's got some tanks sieged up, he's got the Marines in the position there, lifting up the orbital command, doing a scan. So ThisisJimmy is completely aware of what is going on. Mova, he's got 3 siege tanks. He's got a couple of Marines and Marauders, and ThisisJimmy once again, he is applying the pressure. Every time he applied the pressure, he won. So this looks good for ThisisJimmy right now. Will he be able to take this Craft Cup? He was in the finals once, but I'm not sure if he won a US Craft Cup already, and he's a really good player. Once again, Mover here in the base. Marines are there by ThisisJimmy and repelling the Vikings with no problems at all. Meanwhile, yes, with this orbital command being forced to lift up due to this contain and nice spread of the siege tanks of the bunkers. So, and especially only having one marine in this bunker, you don't know if there are one marine in the bunker or if there are actually 4 marines in the bunker, and this makes those bunkers actually more and more threatening. Nova, on the other hand, now he is containing ThisisJimmy as well. He's got 2 siege tanks here at the destructible rocks. He's got 2 Vikings flying in there. He got some drops on the high ground. And now ThisisJimmy spotted the forces of Mova, but Mova stimmed a little bit too earlier. But now with the SCVs in addition, ThisisJimmy should be able to repel this drop, and indeed he does. So dropship only losing 2 Marines flying away, so the job was done. Okie dokie. Another drop is meanwhile happening in the base of ThisisJimmy right now. Meanwhile, Mova is going for the island expansion, so Mova not yet out of the game, even though he is contained. He did quite a good job, but now Mova's ThisisJimmy remaining minerals, marines, and siege tanks are there to pick off all the remaining units, and the medivac will go down as well. And now it is time for us to take a look at the harvest account. And ThisisJimmy is down to 26 SCVs, so now he's behind 11 SCVs. What about those two siege tanks? No, not 2 siege tanks, 4 siege tanks actually. 2 missile turrets. That's what I wanted to say, of course. Those missile turrets, and will Mover drop some units here next to the siege tank? Yes, he does. This is a good choice. And he's even dropping the siege tanks, of course, not a good idea. But now those 2 siege tanks by ThisisJimmy are down. The Vikings, of course, providing the vision for those siege tanks. But Mover he needs to watch out. He's got only 2 siege tanks there. And he can take this medivac. He's taking out the medivacs. Of course, the Vikings here by Mover get protected by the siege tanks in his army composition. Meanwhile, on the other hand, thanks to an 8 marine drop, Mover was forced to lift up this orbital command. He needs to go back to his base, otherwise this orbital command will burn down to the ground. Mover doing another drop here to take out another siege tank, and actually this is really close. We have a 92 supply against 96 supply. We have the same amount of harvesters, but now ThisisJimmy is mining from this natural. Meanwhile, Mover can't mine from his island, he can't mine from his natural as well, and a lot of units of ThisisJimmy are actually here defending stuff. So if Mover will be able, another big let's take a look at this again. I'm sorry. So another big engagement will soon come up. ThisisJimmy got quite a lot of marines here. Let's take a look at the HP bars. Now he's stimming, now he's moving out, and how much forces will he be able to take out? And actually those marines, even though they are all in the red or in the yellow, they took out the complete forces by Mover. This is not looking good for him. Mover on the other side just re-secured this island expansion. Now he's landing over the command once again there. How many energy does he have? He just does have how much energy? He does have enough energy for 4 mules in total. So 1, 2, 3 mules it is, and maybe another scan somewhere else. Meanwhile, what is ThisisJimmy doing? He's got the 3 supply lead right now. More important, let's take a look at the units. So ThisisJimmy with 31 marines, 6 siege tanks right now. On the other hand, 26 marines, 2 siege tanks less, but 4 more marauders for him. Of course, marauders are a good unit to have to take out siege tanks. This one bunker, I think it got salvaged, and ThisisJimmy having an SCV here, and at the island, and actually he's got 2 SCVs here at the island, at the gold. But there we see Mover is now moving out. Might this be the final attack? I have